Hey everybody, welcome to Work Force Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was
Mm-hmm.
announced and released a couple weeks ago, along with the announcement of Ninja Gaiden 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either one of us are big Ninja Gaiden people, but you jumped on this like right away.
I've never played a Ninja Gaiden, and I've just been kind of like waiting for that opportunity. And it's just like, oh, okay, this is going to be like the best game with like, and they put like, so the original Ninja Gaiden game had a really good version that came out called Ninja Gaiden Black. There was
Yep,
never a Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. So this to me it's like, okay, they're taking the best one and they're like putting that black moniker on it. It's like, okay, so this is like, if I'm ever gonna play Ninja Gaiden, like this is clearly
this
they're
is the one.
signaling that this is the one to play. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
I played a little bit of Ninja Gaiden 2 back when it first came out, and I did not like it, and it is the only experience I have with Ninja Gaiden.
Well, I can say that I definitely played Ninja Gaiden Black 2, and I also did not like it. I was actually really excited for this because I'd played Devil May Cry, I played Bayonetta, and this was just kind of like that sort of like black, like I just never played Ninja Gaiden. It's like, oh, it's a fan of stylish action games. I should definitely give this a shot. Yeah.
It's the other big set. It's the other big set of them. If you're gonna play them all, this is the other one outside of those couple, really, for the most part. So, what was the issue? Because my issue, I remember
Yeah.
being with this 10 years ago or whenever it came out, was just it was too damn hard. But I feel like that's not a thing that you get pissed off about as much as I do.
So the Ninja Gaiden Black is kind of interesting. So their normal mode is a rebalanced easy mode that from the original Ninja Gaiden 2.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so like I think Acolyte was always like the earliest version. That's now like normal. So I played through on Acolyte, but from what I understand, it's slightly harder than the original Acolyte and slightly easier than the original normal. The thing that I kept bumping up against is like this game like will feel incredible for certain moments. Um, the thing that kept going back and forth like back to like anytime I think of like when I'm enjoying the game is when I'm feeling like a food processor. Like there's just parts where like you're fighting like 5 or 6 guys at once and you're using some weapon and just limbs are flying everywhere and it just has like this really satisfying like gishy noise. So like
Okay.
when you're in that mode of just like destroying smaller enemies, it is like tons and tons and tons of fun. Like I absolutely I it's like genuinely like some of the best gameplay feedback period, like just that and it's like also one of those violent games I ever played, so there's like that like
Hmm.
level of violence, that great feedback just like tearing through people like feels awesome. But as soon as the game like wants to do something challenging or have like an enemy that has a lot of health, it just like immediately stops being fun. The thing that's like really really strange about the game, and I was like looking online because I felt like I was like playing it wrong, and I kind of was, is that when you
Hmm.
look at like a set of moves for like a weapon, it'll give you like, okay, press square, 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 then triangle, then square. It's like these long combos, very similar to Bayonetta and like maybe fighting games. The thing is that the enemies are so hyper aggressive that you can only get like those first 2 shots off. So like it
Oh,
has
weird.
this huge set list of like combo moves that you just never can use. And I was actually going online complaining about this, like, so like how do you play this game if like you're not supposed to use most of the moves, and like people are agreeing like, oh no, just do this simple move, like keep to these like 5 moves. Like, okay, well what's kind of the point? But like it is really fun playing with those hyper aggressive enemies, but just like the whole combat system is built around not having super aggressive enemies.
Not.
And then just fighting bosses just like it's just not fun. Like anytime there was like a boss cutscene, I was like, man, this is gonna suck. Just like it just wasn't fun at all.
Is it like bullet sponge issues, or it's just like this is just too long? Is it too difficult? Is it just like they're not interesting? Like they're are you just fighting like other super powered ninjas and that's all it is, or
No, so like so the difficulty is like really what happened. Okay, it's a lot of like technical mechanical stuff that I was having issues with that I kept
oh,
bumping
okay.
up against, is that when you're fighting a boss you never know which combo is going to stagger them or not. So you could like start staggering them, go like, oh okay, I got it, and you basically do the exact same thing. Like after that one attack I'm going to attack them, do the exact same thing, and then they're not staggering. It's like, what, I'm missing something.
Interesting.
So like you're fighting a guy, he's not staggering, you can just see him winding up for some super punch that's about to like take out half your health. So I
Hmm.
just like felt so inconsistent that like I just had like no idea what was going on like the entire time I was playing. It just felt like it's just like the combat was not matching the combat scenarios that it was throwing at me. Um,
Interesting.
and yeah, and I just felt like that part of the game where you are fighting a lot of smaller enemies feels really wholly unique and just really really fun. And then when you're playing, like I was saying, playing against like the bosses or like the enemies with more health, like other games just do that part a lot more fun.
Yeah, because I feel like that's kind of the opposite of like Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry, it's always like, okay, look at these bosses. These boss fights are amazing. Like, okay,
Hmm.
that was so much fun when like these things showed up. But just like the arena to arena chewing through enemies just kind of comes like routine after like 2 hours in those
Yes.
games. So this is kind of the inverse of that, where it's like, oh no, I want that. I want that routine arena to arena thing. I don't want the bosses.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And it was just funny because like I mean, obviously I love Souls games and stuff, but like in a Souls game when they have like the boss fight sort of like cutscene, it's just like
Yeah,
I really enjoy Souls bosses, so it's like okay, this is gonna be really fun learning their mechanics. This and like anytime there's a Ninja Gaiden boss, like I was like, it's just gonna be like really annoying for like 20 minutes because they are hard. It's like the game is
mhm,
really hard, so it's just and it just like really felt like a light switch, like having fun, not having any fun, having fun, not having any fun, and then like obviously the enemies get harder as you go along in the game, so the game just like
yeah,
gradually becomes less and less fun the further you get into it,
those
and
are
it was
the
just like
worst.
yeah, yeah, and there's like a lot of other problems I had with it. I think the characters are really flat. Like
Hmm.
I'm not one to ever complain about like video game. People always like, oh, this video game character sucks because like they have nothing to do. It's like okay, I I get that, but there's just sort of like I've sort of like I don't in my mind like there's like a baseline what a video game character is to me. It's like it's really hard to like have a really bad video game character, but
Yeah,
like every character in this game is just like completely devoid of like anything interesting about them. It's kind of funny because like they give like DMC and Bayonetta. I know Hi-Fi Rush is like much more recent, but like stylish action games have like interesting protagonists and like goofy villains and stuff like
yep.
guys you want to kick their ass and you have like a fun silly character. But like this whole thing is like all the characters are just like very straight. Like you play as a guy who's like a ninja. That's his whole thing. And then they have like three interchangeable female characters who all have the exact same personality and like
Hmm.
they come in for like it's really weird like you'll be doing this like really fun sort of like level as them where like kicking ass and doing all their stuff and the second they meet Ryu they like have no agency. Not it's not agency, not even the right word, but they just like can't do anything all of a sudden. It's just like
Hmm.
this is like old video game shit. But it was just like but it's weird because like
Developed
even
by Team Ninja, creators
Ninja.
of Dead
Yeah,
or
I know. I kept
Alive.
sending that. Yeah, you kept sending that to me. And like the character designs for like the women are like really embarrassing. Like they're it is really funny
Creators
because
of
there's this
Dead or Alive.
it is funny because there's like this push recently of like games are going woke. It's like they need to go back to the old days. It's like, oh really? You tell me how you enjoy these like female characters from this. It's like it was like embarrassing playing these games because like they don't even
Mhm.
look cool. They just look like horny teenager scribbled in a textbook thing. It's like there's
Mhm.
nothing sexy about them or anything. It's just like really, and then the fact like all of them are completely interchangeable. On top of like the main character being interchangeable, you'd think there'd just be like maybe one villain who's like kind of interesting and kooky, and they kind of have that, but it's like the most interesting character in this is like the least interesting Devil May Cry character. Like
Yeah,
maybe. So
yeah.
it there was no like real. Not that I'm asking this game to have a plot, but like this is like I think it is sacrilegious to like skip cutscenes. And I was just like staring at my screen going, I could have I'm like my hand is hovering over the skip button on these cutscenes going like this just sucks.
That's
I don't hate these characters, but they're all giving me nothing.
that's such a weird thing for a stylish action game because it's so much like these games are over the top and crazy and
Yes.
kooky. And I do remember playing this originally and being like, oh, so this is like the like what if it was a normal situation and game? We don't
Yeah.
have a crazy, arrogant devil hunter as our lead. We don't have some crazy
Yeah.
lady who's a witch covered in hair. Like we don't have that. We
Yeah.
just what if it was a ninja?
Yeah. And then like a ninja support cast who are also ninjas.
Yeah.
And it was like, and the thing that's kind of weird is like, because the world is really interesting because it's like ninjas are just part of society. So like, there's like these really cool like giant pagodas that are like in. So it's like kind of like a futuristic Japanese ninja sort of mix. So it's got this like kind of interesting world when you see peaks of it. The other thing that's kind of weird is like the graphics are like really really good, but this is kind of the thing like I really don't like about next gen. We've talked, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to talk about it well. Is like the thing that we talk about. So I was like complaining about like good looking game trademark like TM, where it's like
Yeah.
all these games just kind of look like the same level of good looking. So
Yep.
like for I'd say like 60% of the game, like if you just like took a Photoshop and erased, Ryu, you'd be like, I have no idea what game this is. It's just this very
Mhm.
sort of like flat, good looking Unreal 5 thing. But there's these really cool moments like brilliance that like look like stuff that like not even Devil May Cry was like I think Devil May Cry kind of has like weak environments in general, but like Ninja Gaiden is like these really really cool environments. So when it kind of goes back and forth between these super cool environment moments to going back down to like good looking game TM, it's just like it was like really strange. So it like this whole game, whether it was the gameplay or the characters or whatever else, it just felt like flicking a light switch of I am loving this game or like this game just is like not just doing absolutely
Yeah.
nothing for me. Yeah. It's very strange.
It sounds like one of those games where, like, I don't know how I feel about this. I enjoyed half, I hated half. Half of it was a 5 out of 10, half of it was a 9 out of 10. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, and it's like it it's kind of hard because like I do know like the guy who made this Itagaki is like kind of an asshole. Like the guy like just like that's the character that he is at least presenting to the public is like the guy who directs Dead or Alive games and the Ninja Gaiden games is kind of an asshole. And like
Hmm.
in my mind, like I feel like Souls games when they do something like on the player that's kind of like a trick, there's like a silliness to it. In this game, I
Hmm.
just felt like I was like being like bullied the entire time by like the
Picking
dip
on
because
you as
like
you go through.
yeah, it's like here's a bunch of moves you can't use. They have like a bunch of there's like a bunch of enemies like they don't stagger and like they stagger randomly.
Hmm.
There's like the camera is like I never complain about bad cameras. I always think people are kind of weird about bad cameras, but like the camera is so bad and they hide enemies because you can't turn the camera. So like
Hmm.
okay, example in a Souls game, you walk through a door, you didn't check around the corner of your camera, and you get smacked by an enemy that was hiding behind the door.
Yeah.
In this one, you can't turn the camera to see behind the door. So like by like you're trying like I'm sitting there like trying to turn the camera, and as I'm turning the camera, like another thing like and like they're designing these fights so you cannot see them come off camera to hit you. It's just
That's
like
really irritating.
it's really and there's just a lot of like little things where it's like it just felt like somebody's like make this part harder, and it's like we don't want people beating this section. It's just like it just but it wasn't fun or cheeky or anything like that. It was just like kind of whatever. But ultimately, fighting a lot of little ninja guys was like super fun, and like I was actually replaying like some of the footage here, which is not super violent because I didn't want to get delisted from
You too.
YouTube. Like fighting the little ninja guys is like so fun, and I think that's probably what people are more drawn to when they're saying Ninja Gaiden is really cool is that aspect of it because that still feels fun, that still feels unique. That feels
Yeah.
like something that's kind of missing from stylish action games, but just like everything else, I was just like just kind of very. I was disappointed in that I was like, oh, this was supposed to be like the other great stylish action game, and like while it does feel kind of nice to control, it's like really tight. It just like wasn't very fun. Even being difficulty aside, it just like was not a fun game to play.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's weird because that's why I love those games is because they are just fun. They're fun,
Mm-hmm.
goofy, entertaining, and play great. And it's like, okay, you nail 2 out of the 4, and it's like
Yeah,
you can feel the missing of those other 4, especially when you have like 2 series like Bayonetta and Devil May Cry that we keep going back to. They're hitting it out of the park every single time,
yeah, exactly,
and then you're like,
exactly.
you're close, guys.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Are you interested in Ninja Gaiden 4? Because I feel like that's you put out this one, so that people are like getting ready for 4 coming. I think next year.
I don't think Platinum are the people to take Ninja Gaiden's combat to the next level.
Okay.
Like, it's Ninja Gaiden combat is like before I was like, oh, that looks kind of neat, but now I'm like, Ninja Gaiden combat is nothing like Platinum combat. It does feel like very unique in that aspect of this like super aggressive stuff, and like Platinum stuff is just kind of like more akin to Kingdom Hearts in my mind, whether or not that's true or not. But like
I
that's
think it's
super
weird.
tight, whatever combat outside of Revengeance. Like there's not been a Platinum game. Well, since Revengeance that has like super tight. Really, you need to really know this combat
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I was
Maybe.
like thinking about getting like Razor's Edge, but I was trying to think like when I was done, I was like, do I even care to like continue this series? Like, if this is the best it's got, I think I'm good.
I think we can tap out if this is the best it is. But
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
we are Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below. There's links to support us on Coffee as well. We'll see you later.
Bye.